Hello, hello, my beautiful people. I think we live. Oh, there we are. We are live. Hello, hello, my beautiful people. Adriana is here back on Body, Mind, and Soul Connector Circle. We are back on another amazing event. Thank you so much for everyone for joining. To say a big shout out to Michelle and Lorna, my co-host. And today we have two beautiful ladies with us, Susan and Doree. Let's say hello to everyone. And for those that are watching this live or you're watching it replay, please comment below, say hello, let us know where you're tuning from. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to meet these beautiful ladies and see what they are doing, what is amazing gifts they have to share with us today. So what we're going to do quickly, we're going to go around the table and we're going to quick introduction, 30 seconds or a minute max, just to say hello, where are you from, what's your name, what's your title, and where you are tuning from. So we're going to start with Michelle.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Hi guys, nice to meet you. I'm Michelle Beauchard. Call myself the natural entrepreneur. I'm a digital doula. I live on the west coast of Canada, on Vancouver Island. And yeah, I help people with their offer ecosystems and their tech. So that's me, where I live and what I do.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's go to Susan.
Hi, welcome. It's really nice to see everybody. My name's Susan Goodrich. I live in Cornwall, Ontario, in Canada, not too far from Montreal and Ottawa, kind of the triangle. And I'm an empowerment coach, helping art-centered entrepreneurs.
Amazing. We're looking forward to hear more about that. Let's say hello to Doree. Oh, let me know if I say your name wrong, please. Spell me.
It's Dory. It's Dory. You're right.
Sorry.
You did good. So my name's Dory Kern, and I live in Missoula, Montana, which is the largest city in the United States, completely surrounded by the Rocky Mountains. And I am a magical mentor.
Ooh, that sounds, I want to hear now all about it. Awesome. That's gonna be such an interesting event today to see. Okay, let's go to our beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. I am Lorna Gale, and I'm here in Western Canada as well, in British Columbia. And my title is I'm a speaker, a teacher, a somatic sexologist, and sex and spirit alchemist of the feminine-led life.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. And myself, my name is Adriana DiMarvel. I am a transformational coach and speaker, and I'm tuning from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Amazing. So now I see Lorna disappear. She's still there. There she is. And we're gonna pass it on to Lorna so she can take away and with our second round. Lorna?
All right, thank you. So the way that we're going to do it, and Susan, we got to have you here one other time, so we're so glad that you're back. And for those of you who are here first time and those of you who are watching the replay, we do welcome you to come back. Number one is it's always evolving, and you are evolving, we're evolving, everything is. And so it's an opportunity for you to connect with more people, for you to be able to share what your offerings are that you have on the go right now. And just really a beautiful way to continue to weave and build community and collaborations. And as one of the things that's an important part as well, what we're doing is creating this this ocean, if you will, of connection, where there may be some people who are looking for you. That's who I've been waiting for. So we want to really give you as much exposure as we can through come onto the circle and to the circle as many times as you are able to and would like to. In this next part, what we're going to be doing is I will put the timer on for 5 minutes. As I say, just really sink into it so that you can share. We invite you to put away the scripts, to even let it go of wondering and worrying, what is it you're going to say? And as each person shares, is just really be present to and listen to what they're saying, to be able to hear their words behind the words, through the words, and really start to connect in. Then each person, when it's the next person, I'm going to, and I just feel into, okay, who feels to be the next person to go. And when that next person goes is to pick up something, a bit of a thread from what you heard somebody else, the person before you share. It might be something you can relate to, or something that really resonates with you. And you're going to bring that in, acknowledge it, speak to it for a few moments, and then go into and sharing about you, your work. There are 3 things that we will have you do, and Michelle, I think you get to put that into if you could put that into our chat, you can watch for reference. First thing is you're going to share about what are the gifts that you bring. What, not the freebies. We're not talking about that. It's who are you? What are the gifts that you bring to the work? The gift that you are, and who do you serve, and how, and then your why. So maybe here we go. My fingers were out of sync. Here we go. So again, there's what are your gifts? Who are you? The gift that you are. What are you bringing? Who do you serve, and what, and how? Whether that's retreats, whether it's one-on-ones, just there, maybe we'll talk about some of your offers. And then the third one is why. You can mix those up in whatever order you choose to, but that's just for your reference. So just going to invite us all just take a few moments. We sort of come into here and we've all probably got some things that we've just dashed into and get the computer going and technology. So I'm going to invite us all just take a few moments and just breathe in. And oftentimes when we breathe, we think, okay, here's my belly, here's my chest. I'm going to invite you to be aware of the back of your body as well. And feel the movement of the body as you breathe. Now bringing your awareness to your bottom, sitting on whatever surface you're sitting on, chair, couch, floor. And breathe into that connection that's happening there. Feeling the movement of the body. Now bringing your awareness to your feet. Whether they're crisscrossed, resting on the cushion, on the floor, on the edge of your chair. Just bringing your awareness to there again, and bringing your awareness and your breath, breathing to and from the soles of your feet. And with that awareness, even see if you can feel your feet expanding and contracting with each inhale and exhale. And then in your own time and way, taking a few deep breaths, bringing your awareness back here, and open your eyes when you're ready. Wonderful, beautiful. And thank you for being here. And it's glad to have this opportunity for us to shine the light on you, to really give you this stage to be visible, to be heard, and to share what's on your heart and what's in your soul, what's being gifted to the world. So again, questions. What are your gifts? If you are, who do you serve and why? And or how, and then why. Thank you, Michelle, for putting those in the chat. Adriana, I'm going to invite you, please, if you would go ahead first. And all right, and I'll put that timer on. Sink in and enjoy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sometimes it's interesting, like Lorna was mentioning a while ago. It's every single time, and I do this every second week. It comes differently. It feels differently. It's because every single time I'm a little bit different. I'm grow a little bit more, just a little bit more. And when I look back at where I started, not when I was born, but when I started this journey of, I look at it now. On the beginning, I thought like I'm gonna discover who I am. I'm gonna become something. I always look at this way, and now I'm looking at in a different way. I'm learning to let go of all the layers I have accumulated during all this year. And this is what's a part of my story, my gifts, and my why. You know, when your life is lifing you, when you get hit hard, I think it's it's a must, and I am sure every single one of you here had a rock bottom, had maybe multiple rock bottoms that got you where you are today. And on that moment, we thought that, at least me, I thought they were my curses. I'm like, why? Why this is happening to me? I'm a good person. Why I'm doing this? And then I realized they were my blessings, because now I see how many layers I had to shed down to allow myself to come out, to actually not become something. Even the word become, I have to be before something comes back to me, when something that I want to come to me. And what it's happening lately is that I'm learning to let go of a lot of layers I have accumulated. Layers like, you know, the indoctrination of how I grow up as a child into a patriarchal culture, a man above woman, the pleasing person that I have, you know, learned to be as a mother, you know, as my mom was, as my grandma was on everybody around me, as I had to be the good wife and do what I was told, as I have to be the best employee and just sit there and do my thing and don't do nothing else, don't dream about nothing. And all these layers I learned slowly to just shut down. And what I'm learning now is to clean my mess that I have created by taking responsibility of my own mess. And this is my gift, is because I can see other people's mess, because I've been in there. I seen it. I lived it many times. Sometimes even now I still live it. But what my gift is that, and my why is that we don't have to suffer anymore. It's not, the pain is required for growth, but the suffering is not. And my gift is to the ability to take people out of their own mess, like extract them out to certain tools, to certain exercise and things I have learned, let them out for a moment or two, see themselves, become the observer of their own story, and then I will drop them back into their story, because now they cannot go back to who they were, because now they experience something differently. And that's a little bit of my gift and why I'm doing this, is because with every single person I do that, I heal a part of me as well. Because we all are together, we all are one universe. We are one verse. We just decide to separate at one point. And now we're just returning back to who we already were. Authentic, true, love, whatever that means to each one of us. And that's a little bit of my gifts and how I do it. It's my biggest thing is that I love people. I love connecting with people. I love speaking in front of people. I love speak life in people that they think they're lifeless. And speaking one-on-one, because that deep connection with one person, it's so intimate, and it's such an honor for me to be able to people to allow me into the deepness of their story, and community, group calls, and all these things. And who I serve is the unicorns. The unicorns that always knew they are unicorns, but then never have the courage to allow that unicorn to shine through. And my goal is, my mission is to bring authenticity back into this world, because it's already there, we just forgot about it. Thank you. Back to you, Lorna.
Wow, thank you. And you're right. Every time you share it, it is different and deeper, and yeah, it's just really beautiful. Thank you. So we're going to go now, please, to hear, see Susan. So if you can pick up a thread of something you heard from Adriana, connect to it, and then continue on and sharing, answering your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. There were a few things that that I listened to that Adriana shared, and certainly I love that piece of authenticity, you know, that whole part of coming back to ourselves. I got what came up for me though, like you were sharing the pieces of the gifts, right? And those pieces, those threads that we've had to go through. And what came up for me was the gift that I grew up with of not belonging. You know, I grew up with that whole sense of I didn't fit in. And if you kind of know I know some of you know my story, but not many of you do. And so I never married. Um, but I did start an entrepreneurial business at 40, I think I was 42, wasn't 41, 1997. So yes, I'm 68. But I never married. My business was quite successful, and I afforded me to buy a beautiful, a rundown Victorian home, which I ended up transforming. And in all of that process, I also decided to become a mom at the age of 52. I made that decision. And at 53, I gave birth to not one, but two. I call them healthy, happy, handsome twin boys who I just had to run off and shut the door because they're downstairs doing video games. Yeah, they're 15, so I'm 68, so I'm not young. But there was such a gift in the not feeling like I belonged, because it sent me on a search to figure out who I was. And I got to explore Jungian analysis in my late 30s and have been on that journey, that spiritual knowing self-discovery journey for 3 decades, right? Because I was 38 when I started that, and I'm 68. So yes, that's 3 decades. And the gift of that has just been of not belonging. It sent me into that exploration. And the work that I was doing was in the engineering environment where everything was very logical. I was teaching software to engineers, but I knew I needed to come as me. And then after I had my children, my business kind of went like this. I think I dropped into that fear of lack and scarcity because I was providing for my children on my own, and I lost all my care. And what I had to do because of the framework around that time of sales is that I needed to shift into online training. And so when I started online training, but online marketing, because I had always done everything by phone, pick up the phone, and they were, B2B. But what I saw were women in these training programs learning how to do online work that it broke my heart to watch that space of scarcity and isolation, because I knew what isolation felt like. I knew what it felt like to not belong and because I hadn't found my people yet, right? And I think that's really key, is when we find our people. And I've done some discovery around human design, which really started to solidify the things that I knew about myself and about the people that I was connecting with. And I can tell I'm in this group with this body, mind, soul group that I know that I get a real sense that I'm in this crowd, this group of, soul sisters. I really get that. I mean, I listened to your little thing yesterday or this morning. You did an interview. I think the 3 of you did a mini podcast. And was it Michelle? Did you do a podcast on the authentic human? Who was that?
The 3 of us did one on authenticity. We talked about.
And then somebody posted something on the authentic human or something. And I listened to that podcast. I think there was somebody inside. Anyways, I was led to that, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm right. I'm here. I know I'm with the right people. But what called me was like when I saw these women in this process was to really, I knew there had to be a better way, because they weren't, even though they were teaching people, skills and how to do online marketing, they weren't addressing these other pieces that I could see. And so I have something called the Soul Aligned Business Blueprint Program, which allows me to take entrepreneurs through my life coaching skills, but also with my 3 decades of being an entrepreneur. So I'm really delighted to be here and connected to all of you beautiful souls. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Susan, for sharing, and love hearing more of your story as well. Be able to create that context to have that great appreciation. And I know that I am one who has had the privilege of working with you and going through those pieces that you do and benefiting from your experience. So thank you. It feels now to go to Michelle. Let's see what
Oh,
thread you weave.
thank you for being here and having me. I love this group because it constantly brings me back to focusing on balance of our mind, our body, and our soul. And that's something that I need, and is part of why I wanted to do this group with Adriana and Lorna, and they definitely keep me balanced. And Adriana keeps my butt kicked, and Lorna gives me wisdom, and they both do both, but it's just fabulous to be here. So I really appreciate you saying you're amongst your people, Susan, because I feel that too. So and it is a soul sister group, so I'm glad you're here, and you're here, Dory. I call myself the natural entrepreneur because I'm a biologist by formal training. So this, the spiritual side of stuff actually didn't kick in for me until later in life, actually until after I held my mom's hand when she passed. And that law of conservation of mass and energy thought kicked in. I'm like, okay, where'd my mom go? I want my mom. She went somewhere. She's not gone. I know it's here. So where did she go? And it just triggered my interest in all of that. So that's sort of how I have arrived there. And although I have recently taken energy pranic healing work, what I do for a living is help people in the digital world with crafting their online offers around their authentic selves, what their true soul's purpose is, and what they're here for on the planet. And then I help them sort of analyze their system, like what's your freebie, your low ticket, your mid ticket, your high ticket, and then how is that best supported with tech? And then I build out the funnels and the websites and the affiliate programs and the subscription communities and all the things. So I call myself a digital doula because I help you birth your offer, and then I help put the tech underneath you to support that. So but I wasn't always that. How does a biologist how do you go from biologist to digital marketer, energy person? And so there's been a Forrest Gump like path is what I want to say. But I have a son on the spectrum. My why is that I have a son on the autism spectrum who's nonverbal and self-injurious, and a beautiful daughter who's our family journey has taken us lots of places, and supporting him in his autism has had lots of impacts. And so really how I ended up in this world of work and helping people find their gifts is because he taught me he had a gift inside of himself that he couldn't get out. And I know that there's gifts in there, but in trying to find the resources when in his failing systems where the school failed him and the government agencies failed him and medical systems failed him, and I was running a respite and homeschool care company, taking care of his needs because his needs were so high that nobody else would take care of them enough. So I decided to make a home-based business out of serving him and other families. And what I found was it was great for the parents, great for the kids, and great for the workers, but it wasn't breaking even. And I just felt very strongly that it shouldn't be easier to order pizza to your door than it is to get complex needs childcare. And that service needed to happen no matter who could or couldn't pay for it. So I went on a mama bear hunt. I did all the things, the MLMs and cryptos and stocks and all the Forex and real estate and all the things. And I'd retrained actually during COVID when we had to shut down because we didn't want to vector COVID around. I retrained to figure out how to serve the community. And one day I was watching TikTok or something, saw a kid on there with gold teeth and a Lamborghini. I thought there's money in their interwebs. Let's get some of it for the kids. And so my goal is, as a digital entrepreneur, helping people establish their businesses and supporting them with tech, is to turn that's a social purpose enterprise that is the bake sale that funds respite and homeschool care for families. So that's my why is my son and my daughter and my people. And yeah, I really just enjoy, as I have learned that caregiver burnout, my ultimate goal is to eliminate caregiver burnout and work on ecological restoration, because I'm a biologist by formal training. So yeah, and my mom was a nature geek. And yeah, so I call myself the natural entrepreneur, because I also feel like your business has to feel natural for you. And because our businesses are like ecosystems, they function like nature. So you have to have a healthy functioning business ecosystem and community to be able to support it. That's me. I feel like doing like a little princess wave.
That's so awesome. Oh, beautiful. And I when each time I hear you, Michelle, as well, I often think of, you almost have two levels of your why: your foundational level of what you're doing for your son and children on the spectrum, and then also this level of what you do for entrepreneurs, and it's that's really profound. So thank you for your work. Dory, it is your turn. We look forward to you stepping onto the stage and sharing, please.
Thank you, Lorna. So I can very much relate to Michelle as far as my why being seeing the world and seeing where humankind is capable of much better than what we're seeing happening in the world. And for me, my focus is patterns of trauma and abuse. When I was in my early 20s, I uncovered repressed memories of my father molesting me from age 3 to age 6. And literally from the day that I uncovered those memories, I started asking spirit to guide me to be able to help other women who have been through that or something similar. And my magical side started as a kid. I started having visions, and of course I didn't know what they were. And when I was 11, I had a vision of my grandmother's death. And it was Easter Sunday, and I was walking across the carpet after filling my plate, and I just had this all of a sudden. I felt all of the pain that I would feel associated with her death, and saw a flash of a black and white calendar grid with the number 22 on it. And then I felt peace wash over me that everything would be okay. And so from then on, I always thought my grandmother was going to die on the 22nd of a month. Now, I'm the 12th of 14 grandkids. My mom was her 8th of 10 children. And so my grandma was 40 when she had my mom. So she was, an older grandmother. And we spent lots and lots of time with her. I grew up in the same town where she lived, and then she moved, half an hour out of town with my aunt and uncle, and we would spend lots of time with her to give my aunt a break, helping take care of her. And then when I was a freshman in high school, she moved in with my family. And I started having dreams, and they would come true. And the next time I would see somebody, they're doing what they were doing in the dream. They're wearing what they were wearing in the dream. And I would tell her about it. And she said, I had that gift when I was younger, but I was scared of it and I pushed it away. And I said, well, I think it's really cool and I want to develop it. So fast forward to my senior year in college, when we to rush her to the emergency room on Easter Sunday. And we ended up moving her from the assisted living place where she was into a nursing home. The whole family came home. We had this huge party to basically say goodbye to her. And then my mom slept in a recliner beside her bed for 40 days and 40 nights until my grandma gained her angel wings. And when she did, my psychic cousins, who were between my mom's and my grandma's age, came over to pay their respects, and I was the only one home. And I was supposed to be driving 300 miles across the state to do makeup for a friend's wedding. And I asked them to do a healing session because I knew they did some sort of healing. I didn't know what it was, but I was having neck pain. And so they did what became my first past life regression. And that opened me up. And then I go off across the state on this journey where I'm feeling other people's emotions and I'm hearing what other people are thinking. And I've got so much communication going on between me and spirit that I can't communicate very well on this side. And then I came home, and my mom and I went up to Canada because her best friends from childhood, they're twins. Their mom died 2 days after my grandma did. And since we had already planned my grandma's celebration of life to be 2 months later in August, we went up to Canada to go to their funeral to her funeral. And I was so consumed by the messages coming from spirit that everybody's like, oh my gosh, you've got to get her in counseling, Katie. She's losing it. And my poor mom was like, oh my gosh, I just lost my mom. I can't lose my daughter too. And so that was kind of my spiritual psychosis of my spiritual awakening. And, you know, I've worked and studied and learned and done a lot of healing work on myself. And I'm now doing work as a magical mentor. I have a membership. So as a magical mentor, I help women who came with a mission to help make Earth a better place to connect to their spiritual resources to make that happen. And so one of the resources I work with is the moon. And so I have a moon magic and manifestation portal where I have a monthly new moon and full moon sacred circle for my portal members. We actually just had our new moon circle last night. And so we tune in and we embrace the cycle of the moon to help, you know, plant intentions and then you know, release and forgive the things that are getting in the way of making those intentions come to fruition. And then I'm also in the process, I have this coming Thursday, I have a free masterclass called Healing with the Ancestors, which is where I will guide people to connect to their ancestors and receive messages from them in order to heal ancestral patterns of trauma and abuse that are causing problems in that person's life currently, whether it's self-sabotage or it's usually self-sabotage of some sort. And so I've been working with channeling messages from my ancestors. I mean, since my grandma died in 2003. And so I've kind of refined that process and gotten to the point where I can help guide others through it, which is really exciting. And I'll be launching a 12-week course on healing with the ancestors later in September. So that's who I am and who I serve and why I do it is just because I know that Earth is capable, humans are capable of better. And so I'm here to help bring that better into the world.
Thank you so much, Dory, for sharing. When you said that about the magic, I thought you and Susan, both the magic pieces. Susan, is it Susan Goodrich, the Good Witch. I was wondering if you would have your wand there. So that's so perfect. That's great.
It's never very far away.
I thought not. Literally and physically, yes. Yeah. Let's see. Dory, so many things that I connected to. I'm just going to get the timer on here. Let's pause and get that done. Where I really, numerous points, Dory, where I really resonated with you. And the piece that's coming forward is that of from a young child, things that you became aware of as a young child. And I think sometimes when we're in the midst of it, we don't always recognize it. It's sort of looking back to see, oh, okay, I could start to see it happening along the way. And I remember from my childhood where that connects in is this sense of looking back that I've somehow often from childhood been seen, I've experienced it, but seen as somehow a way shower, taking a different path that even in my teens, older adults were saying, oh, I'm watching what you're doing and following and taking note and being called a pioneer and a perspective shifter, a way shower. And I would say in some ways that's just even sinking in. It continues to sink in more and more, and it's that piece about continuing to step into that. So I would say in some ways that's one of my gifts. One of my gifts as well is a gentleness that I bring that I for a long time I thought it was a real weakness, and I see it now as a strength. So that the strength of gentleness, and to be able to create safe, sacred spaces for people to really come into a real connection with who they are. So as a working in the somatic sexuality area of things and working with people's sexuality, it's for me it was a very much a time of that my work comes from my own experience, and very disconnected from it. So when my girls were out of the home and I started to take my own journey, it took me into this place of connecting to my sexuality. But then interestingly, another part of that, and I went on from being a teacher in the school system and teaching energy medicine to now teaching in the sexual erotic realm of things. And so for me, I thought, okay, that's where it is. But another piece that came into there was this whole realm of BDSM and domination and submission. I'm thinking, wow, this was, you know, from my religious background, that was so taboo, so wrong, so dark, so evil. But I experienced it as this soul awakening, this place of, wow, when things come from a place of consent, that it's just this place that allows me to really come into my body and connection can happen. So I went on then from being not only a somatic sexologist and working to connect people to their bodies, help them help themselves. I also became, I was a pro dom for numerous years, and I became a bondage practitioner, which is weaving that erotic energy and BDSM, those places of restraint and sensation, into this incredible, for me, it's become this incredible healing modality, really a way of supporting people of feeling, not only physically, but feeling empowered, to feel connected to themselves, to feel emotions that they have been so tamped down. It's been just an amazing thing. One of my things that I love doing is bondage trainings, where I actually get to facilitate someone becoming a practitioner of bondage, and I bring that because it really supports me in empowering women and in training men. Because in my work over these last 15 years, people come to me, women most often, to connect to their bodies and their sexuality, and the men come to say, I want to be the best that I can be for my women. And it was actually interesting that there was a man who was my submissive, and he had had many years before that. And I realized that that desire for the masculine to be in surrender and servitude to the feminine, there was my moment where that's exactly our human journey, our human spiritual journey, these dark nights of the soul and those pieces. So I support people in connecting to their body and their sexuality, women empowered, men sinking in. So the feminine is the rising, the masculine. How can I support both physically and energetically, spiritually? Do that through one-on-ones. I'm getting ready to do some retreats. I'm starting to look at that, continuing my trainings, group work, couple work, and just a real incredible, and I work online, globally, in person as well. So just an opportunity to really support this sexual wholeness, spiritual wholeness. And I'm just really just in there we go. All right, so Adriana, I'm going to invite you to go ahead and pick up a thread from me just to acknowledge it, so we can really create that circle, weaving it together. And then after you've acknowledged that, then we'll pass it over to Michelle. And Michelle, if you will go ahead, please. And
Thank you, Lorna. One thing that I have learned from you and with you is that gentleness. I was very similar into understanding, you know, growing up with a very masculine mother and grandmother, and who knows the generations behind. That I grew up with, like, no, gentleness is, they're gonna hurt you if you're too gentle, if you're too kind, if you do this is, and it was beautiful to hear you and understand, truly understand that gentleness and be kind, and the feminine energy has its place, the same like masculine energy has its own place inside of me, not necessarily with a man. And that was something that was a huge aha moment for me, to be like, yes, I can embrace my masculinity, because I need this as an entrepreneur, as a business. You have to make decisions. That's masculine. When you have to go get and do things, that's the masculine we need. But also to be able to allow the feminine to come out from me, through me, so I can create what needs to be created through me. So that's something that always gonna stuck with me due to Lorna work. So thank you for that. And as we waving this beautiful thread from one to another one, from empowering woman here, masculine energy doing the things, but also embracing our beautiness inside and outside. We're gonna pass it on to Michelle so she can give us a quick rundown and also close up. Michelle?
Thank you. It is a balance, isn't it? Definitely learning how to own that feminine power of having what you want and having it served by someone, rather than shifting into the driving male energy of pushing and hunting for it. It's a shift that I've been working on for a while, and it's been really interesting to see how that's reflected both in relationships and in business, and just all sorts of things. But Lorna has been key to that for so many people, so I'm grateful for both her and Adriana. So we just wanted to do a couple of things with this last round 3. First, we'll go around and just grab a word that comes to your mind that represents what this session was like for you today. And I'll start with maybe Lorna to give everybody else a chance to think about it. But Lorna, can you tell me a word that kind of, before we get into the final wrap up, a word that reflected how you felt about today, what the energy was like for you?
What comes is actually magical. Yeah, it feels very much that way. And then I'll wait and I'll share more when you take us into the next piece.
Sure. Dory.
Do you want me to just do it now, or do you want?
Yeah, actually, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's
Let's do it. Just wrap it up. And the reason it comes as magical is this whole sense of, even from the aspect of Susan and Dory's magical gifts and abilities and all of those, even the magic, if you will, of Adriana's experience of starting to see, wow, these things that the gifts that they were, right? And Susan, you mentioned that as well, the gift of the feeling not belonging and stuff. But there's these ways where we've seen things, these becoming, these continually growing pieces. It feels really magical.
It does. I agree. It was a magical vibe today for sure. I felt like that was a theme that was all through there. Dory, what word would you use to describe today's session? Oh, you're on mute.
Yep. So I would use the word transformational. I think each one of us has shared about our transformational journey into our entrepreneurial adventure that we're currently on. And so we've all gone from one thing to another. And so as we come together and discuss our different gifts and how we serve the world, we're also helping transform each other and grow and learn about each other's gifts and find new ways of being in the world.
Thank you for sharing. Deeply honor your journey and your transformation of that into a gift that many women need. Thank you for being you. Adriana, what's your word for today?
What came to me when you were asking is reflection, because more we reflect on us and more we reflect on everything, even the session today. I think sometimes it's important to just like, okay, you did the session, then you go to do your other things. Maybe take a moment after and reflect over, what did I have learned from this? What do I want to take with me as a gift, what was given to each one of us speaking today, and take that with me and maybe apply it in my life, maybe contemplate more about it. And it's because these gifts can just come and go, and sometimes we forget to actually grab them and use them. And that was for me reflection.
Thank you. Susan, how about you?
Well, 2 of my words already were ripped out of my mouth.
That's why how in sync we are.
Yeah, we're just all vibing.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I know as soon as Lorna was about to say the word magical, it was the word that landed in my mouth. And then the second one was reflection. And I was like, oh my goodness. Okay. So the other one I got was thread, because I just feel the thread, the connection that goes through all of us, all of our stories. And yeah, I love that we're all here to evolve the world, right? That we're here bringing our magical gifts to evolve the world. Yeah.
100%.
It's beautiful. And that how we're all connected, right? Yeah. Mhm.
Well, I don't feel like there's any mistakes. And so you being here today was really important. My word for today was resonant, because I feel like when you're in tune with people, that's when that feeling of the Borg, get back to the science geek, happens, where you're all one. We are all one. We're humans, but we're spirits having a human experience, and we're all made of the same stuff and connected in our higher realms. And so it's been an honor and a pleasure to have you guys here today and to share that resonance, and to keep it going and to stay connected. And now that we've established these relationships, and so are very happy that you're here in the community and as resources for people. Our Adriana and Lorna and I's intent with the group is to connect people with these offers that may be a little less tangible, with people who could really use them, because sometimes they're a little harder to articulate, or a little harder to get out there and get promoted, or at least sometimes we feel that way. So we wanted to really provide an environment where people who were interested in all things body, mind, and spirit could come and listen to you. And so you've done that piece today to share your little video business card with us today, but we wanted to give you even more of a stage. So we'd like to offer you a one-to-one interview for 15 minutes to feature you here in the network. And I'm going to drop the, although you should get an email after the event with the information, I'm going to drop the calendar into the chat. And feel free to go ahead and book. Depending on the day, it'll be Adriana, Lorna, and I, but it explains that in the calendar who's who. Feel free to pick the day or person of your choice. And we'd love to have you back, dig a little deeper on your offers, and what you do, and how people can connect, just to give that extra feature. And then also we have a couple of things that are coming up in the fall here, where we will be launching and are looking for folks to be in our beta subscription community. So we're looking for people to help us set the culture and tone, but also contribute their coaching sessions and their things that they use as promotional materials inside. It's going to be a directory of folks who basically have a suite of services so that we can more promote you more and better to the people in the audience. So feel free to talk with us when you come for your interview about that, and we'll be able to stash some goodies in there. We're only going to be running the beta for a short period of time, and then your materials will last in there for a while. So it'd be great to have you in there. And then I do want to just do a little plug here. If you're someone who has been very focused on heart-centered, having a hard time kind of getting into the sales end of things, we are going to be having some coaches in there who specialize in help supporting wellness providers who have offers that are harder to articulate, or who are more into the woo-woo end of things, because that can be sales can be difficulty for that. So we're going to have specialized sales coaches in the subscription community for that. And as well, starting next week, I am holding space 1 hour a day for people who have just have a hard time getting their butt in a seat to sit down and do their lead generation and follow-ups, because it seems so salesy. So I'm here to sit with you every day for 15 days. It's a 15-day, 15 client challenge. So if you're interested in that, we'll drop the link in the comments on the video. And that is what I think we needed to cover. But yeah, we're moving towards being able to turn this into a community where it's sort of that old-timey, you know, referral network, an online chamber of commerce sort of thing where, oh yeah, I know Susan does that. No, yeah, I know Dory does that. And, oh, I know Lorna. And then we'll have affiliate links for everybody in the subscription community so that we can actually help each other do good while we're doing good and help each other, but then also have referral commissions back and forth. So that's the tech piece of that and what we're working on here in the network. So looking forward to having that. Lorna, Adriana, did I miss anything? Have you got anything else you want to say before we close out?
No, what we can only say is thank you so much, Michelle, for covering a lot of those things. Definitely we'll love to see like Susan come back if it's your first time, or if you want to come another time, you're more than welcome to come in every single time you want to come here. Because as you say, you come in another time, you're a different person because you evolve, or at least we hope you do. And also, of course, we love to have those interviews with you, those that are watching and you already been in our connection circle events. Please let us know. We cannot drop the link to you. Can be invited as well for your interview. Come again. We're gonna do this one in 2 weeks. And also for you that are watching and for you that are watching replay or live, bring a friend. If you've been here and you love it, just bring a friend. Invite someone else next time you're here. Invite them to come, because the idea is to grow this community or stronger. We, like Michelle said, you know, back in the days, there was no internet to Google. You had to ask your cousin and your friend and your neighbor, who is good at this, who is good. And that's what we need to come back to, because that will bring us even more together to help each other, so we can raise each other. Because at the top, you don't want to be alone. You always want to have a big community with you, so you can create that tribe, if I can call it, back to who we were. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks. If you have any questions, if you have anything, just you know where to find us. Sign up for your next event in 2 weeks, and we'll see you then. Until then, go have fun. Be you.
Thank you, Dory and Susan, for being here. Bye, everyone.